Marcus Conte reporting. Sometimes you just can't get enough. I was down here yesterday checking out the ocean and checking out the scene. I decided to come back and see if I missed anything. Oh, quarantine, New York City style. Secret. My secret hiding place. I guess it ain't going to be secret after these videos come out. So, I hope everybody's doing well. I don't know what's in the news. It was interesting. I found a couple of things this morning. Dancing on the train was fun. Oh, I had so much fun dancing on the train. Just dancing on the train. And those interesting security guards, right? A couple of security guards. What the hell are they doing there? Just hanging out. Checking for masks. They just stood there when I walked by them. Didn't say a word to me. And then I engaged. I said, "Hey, what are you guys trying to secure?" Usually, if you're on security detail, somebody will tell you what you're looking for. It's just very suspicious, you know. Authoritarianism takes a breath forward, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. So, I'll talk about some stories, some good stuff. This is interesting. Actually, a very interesting story if you're down by the shore. Virus masks wash ashore after vessel loses 40 containers in rough seas off coast of Australia. That's too far away. And why is that even a story? Why did Zero Hedge even cover that surgical masks were lost? That's so ridiculous. We're living in ridiculous times. Like that's a thing now. Oh, make sure the masks are secure so everybody's safe. Right? So it was a Singapore flagged container 45 miles off of Sydney, Australia. It's so beautiful down here. I can't tell you how amazing this place is. How amazing the ocean is. How it's tranquilizing, I guess. There's Kennedy Airport very close to here, and you could see planes. I don't know if you could see that plane, but there's a big old plane taking off. You see that plane? You were like right under the runway. Yeah, now you can hear it. See? Literally right under an airport. Next to an airport. Anyway, it's loud. You hear how loud that is? Big old plane going by. Let's see, he's taking a left. He's going to Europe. That's a European plane. A Europe-bound plane. So that's interesting. I mean, if I'm looking for masks, I don't see any washing up on the shore. So we'll go on to the next story. So this is very interesting. This is a big story, right? Trump is set to sign social media executive order today after fact check political bias exposed. So the gist of Trump's argument, I believe, is that Trump thinks that the overall media is biased against conservatives. Whatever conservative means, as if Trump is a conservative, right? So Trump's going to sign some sort of executive order. He said it, and there are no details of what the order contains. Just an executive order. Press Secretary Kaylin McAnee offered absolutely no details of what this executive order is going to entail. Now, a proper executive order should be no censorship at all. True search engine with Google and Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, but that's not the case. Trump is saying that it's biased against his people. That's not leadership. That's politics, in my view. Right? Censorship is a bad thing. Censorship is hurting people. right? Censorship is the mark of the devil. So what is Trump doing? So there's no details. This is Trump's goal. Excuse me. Goal is to strip social media giants of their Section 230 legal immunity if they fact-check content on their platforms. What the fuck is he talking about? I don't even know what that is. Section 230 legal immunity. All right, so social media companies apparently have some sort of legal immunity, unlike a publisher who could be liable for what they say or something like that. So this is an interesting thing to watch. All platform protection should be immediately revoked, and Twitter should be treated as a publisher, says conservative Don Bongino. So all the conservative talking heads are behind Trump on this without any details of what it should entail. Now, Trump said, I'm going to sign an executive order that said censorship is now officially banned across all platforms, that search engines must prove that they are true search engines. When someone puts in Donald J. Trump, they get a true search of what's in there and not a biased search or a shadow ban search. Now, if you're talking like that, you're talking my language. You're talking the language that needs to be talked about, but Trump is not talking about that at all. Trump is saying, he's saying the opposite. He's saying something totally different that favors him and his politics. Also, Trump said he's against large-scale mail-in ballots. He's calling mail-in ballots cheating. Now there's cheating. Now it's cheating. In the past, it was the immigrants and the Mexicans jumping over the fence, voting and jumping back over the fence. They're bussing in immigrants, illegals, to vote. Now it's something different. Now it's a ballot. Oh yeah, the mail-in ballots. That's it's cheating. They're cheating. They're throwing the conservative ballots in the garbage and elevating the liberal ballots. You can't make this shit up, right? Alright, so Trump he's taking out the pen. He's gonna do an executive order. Brace yourself. Hopefully the environment will get better. Hopefully the environment will get better. Is it? Or are we going in the opposite direction? To an authoritarian, my way or the highway way of life. In other news, so here's another one. Chinese scientists say Wuhan animal market isn't where coronavirus began. Coronavirus wars, the virus wars. The blame game. China wants to blame Fort Detrick in the United States, and the U.S. spies, CIA, talking heads want to blame Wuhan. Does it really matter at this point that all of civilization in New York has come to a screeching halt? I don't know where you are in your neck of the woods, but this is scary and eerie and strange, and where are all the people? And it's not really a beach day per se that you would call a beach day. It's maybe 65 and overcast, and for me this is the only time to come to the beach. I don't like the heat. When it's 90, I'm out of here. When it's 60, I'm on the beach. But where are all the people? There's nobody like me. Am I the only cat around? I don't know. Wow. So Wuhan is denying that they started the thing, that the coronavirus began at an animal market. No evidence, right? So Trump and his team and Pompeo, they can try all they want, and they ain't going to get their answer, because China's not letting them in, and nor should they. Nor would we let we wouldn't let them in. Could you imagine the United States opening the door up to Chinese inspectors to check our facilities? That's ridiculous. They would never do that. We would never do that. So, samples from Wuhan market failed to show links between animals sold there and the pathogen. Now, there's evidence, or at least speculation, that a pathogen was never isolated for corona, for COVID-19. An actual live pathogen was never actually isolated. Now, I'm no doctor and I'm no microbiologist, but again, it does seem to me that the COVID-19 epidemic, pandemic, or whatever it was a simultaneous coming together of a lot of sickness in the West. A lot of people on medications, a lot of people, a lot of, some sort of bug got in there and got a virus grew teeth, or a flu grew teeth. Nothing that extreme. I'm starting to think that maybe the virus didn't grow stronger, but people grew weaker. People are growing they're growing more vulnerable. They have less immunity, is really what's happening when you frame it that way, right? So what's the solution? Solution is take better care of yourself. Get out, exercise, mingle, fresh air, fresh food, vitamin and mineral supplement. I just started doing that. I've been taking a vitamin and mineral supplement. Little multivitamin and mineral, and then add a little B complex and add a little vitamin C. So I've been doing that myself. So we'll follow the story with Trump and his executive order. It may have already come out after watching this, because I'm not really connected. I'm not really watching on a moment-to-moment basis right now. And China flat out denying that coronavirus evolved from the Wuhan market. So also, and thank you Sterling Price for bringing this one to my attention, because he's in Missouri. He's in the Lake of the Ozarks, or somewhere in the Ozarks. Missouri officials slam irresponsible and dangerous behavior. What is that dangerous behavior? Seen in images of Memorial Day crowds at the Lake of the Ozarks, people crowding, people enjoying their lives, images of happy, healthy people celebrating the sacrifices of our great patriots that fought and died in wars in America, celebrating that, healthy people out in the sun, and that is labeled by these fucking retards irresponsible and dangerous behavior. Can't make it up. You cannot make it up. There's a video, and I saw the video. It's just a bunch of people around a busy pool, and they're hanging out and they're talking to each other and having a good time. And that's really it, right? So who's the real fucking, when you think about that, who is irresponsible and dangerous to say that that's irresponsible and dangerous? The people that are irresponsible and dangerous are the people that call that irresponsible and dangerous. That's the times we're living in. We're living in up is down and down is up. Left is right and right is left. Everything is flipped on the other side. Introverts are extroverts. Extroverts are introverts. Less is more. More is less. So, I got one more piece of info. So this is interesting too. U.S. Census Bureau, in collaboration with 5 federal agencies, found 1/3 of all Americans are struggling with anxiety and depression, or depression. 1/3 of all Americans suffering from anxiety or depression amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Wow! Holy smokes! Is that a normal number? Is that an unusual number? Or is that just a COVID-19 number? A new number? Because I think and I've said it all along, that the story, I told you about a month ago that the story would be mental breakdown and mental defect and mental inability to cope would be the main story. And we're seeing it play out. People losing their minds over this mask thing. People unable to communicate with each other. They look at each other like they're poltergeist. They stop talking to each other. And it's dangerous, right? Mainstream media also keeps reporting this 100,000 deaths. 100,000 deaths, Joe Biden says. There's 100,000 deaths. Stay 12 feet away from each other. It's crazy, right? So further on that study that found a third of all Americans struggling with anxiety and depression also looked at 40,000 people. That's a pretty big set of people to look at. And what they found is between 18 and 29 year olds, they found 47% of those people, of the millennials, showed signs of anxiety and depression. 47%! What? Holy shit, 47% of millennials. I can tell you this, millennials are going to be pissed off after this. Millennials are going to have target practice on anybody over 70 years old. Because they've gotten so fucking screwed and so beat down and so fucked in this economy in terms of, at every turn of the screw, in terms of education, funding their education, they're fucked. In terms of opportunity, fucked. In terms of studying something, remember in the old days you studied to be a journalist and you became a journalist? Or vice versa, you studied to become something and you became that something, and there was opportunity. All those things are off the table now for the millennials. So I suspect that millennials are going to start having target practice on fucking 70-year-olds that stole their fucking livelihood. Old people. Not necessarily by age, but you know what I'm talking about. The ruling class is what I'm talking about. And transversely, only 19% of those 70 and older showed signs of depression. So it's connected to wealth. Why are all the kids pissed off? Why? Because they had to return to their mother's fucking basement. They had to go home and go in their mother's basement because the 70-year-old class ripped them off. So hats off to the millennials, man. Fight back, man. Luckily, I'm past all that. Right? But anyway, man, it's a beautiful day in New York. It's a beautiful day, really, wherever you are. The air, again, I can't emphasize enough. There's no smog. I suspect that, if this decentralization really kicks in, you're gonna see a mad exodus out of cities because there's nothing there. People are going to start to yearn for space. They're going to start yearning for situations like this, where if you're already decentralized, you don't really have to be any place in particular. You could just log on and do your work. So I suspect that as we move forward, real estate, exodus out of cities, and a move towards a real estate. Notice why all the rich cocksuckers in New York all ran out to the Hamptons to be isolated. Well, they're not isolated in the Hamptons. In the Hamptons, they all have multi-million-dollar homes, $12 million homes. They have gourmet restaurants all over the place, ordering up fast food, ordering up gourmet delivery, and servants, and long exercise walks on the empty beaches. The wealthy are living large. When you hear the Hamptons right now, you can't even get a space in there. You can't even get a place in the Hamptons. They're living so happy. They're probably having their little parties at night, their little speakeasies breaking out. Pay off the politicians, pay off the law enforcement to stay away. That's how the Hamptons work. It's all, how it works out there. It's all pay for play. Not like here. Like here, you got a security guard on the train telling you to put a mask on. That shit's not going on where the rich people are. Trust me, that's not what's going on. That is not what's going on. Imagine if your quarantine was a $12 million home and a Jaguar in the driveway and bicycles and big empty private beaches for you and your little offspring, if you have those. Instead, people are jammed in their apartment. Just stay at home, stay on the couch in the projects. Right? Even in a crisis, the difference between wealthy and the disparity between the rich and poor is staggering, right? It's staggering. So anyway, Marcus Conte reporting. It's a lot of thought for what's supposed to be a relaxing day at the beach. And kindly become a Patreon of this channel. This work is not going to end because of some pandemic. Become a Patreon. The links are down below. MarcusConte.com for more information on that. MarcusConte.com. Become a Patreon of this channel. Also, you can make a one-time contribution through PayPal. I'm not lazy. I'm not at the beach because I'm lazy. I'm at the beach because I'm trying to understand all things. Try to understand the situation we're in, which is mental breakdown. Really, that is the theme right now. That's my takeaway. That there's so much mental decay that it's hard to predict which way this is going to go. Right? And on that note, peace out.